So here we have it. We have a relic and a friend, both of which are going to try to betray me in some way. This is the last option, the Skyripper, but frankly I don't think it's going to be the most faithful option either. I'm sure that we'll learn something awful about it too. The rebellion was out of time and Reynardo needed a game changer. An ancient artifact that defeated the lost gods would indeed be a game changer, though it was split into two pieces many years ago. Reynardo could rebuild it, but by first getting its armature.
Every child knew about the Skyripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces. What could have brought them to light? This Emperor, Isengrim III, had once been kind, but he'd gone mad. And now he was conducting secret, obscene rituals to bring back the lost gods. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the earth? It was more than Reynardo could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it.
But this one feeds on puppies.
As he set foot on the island, Reynardo couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Reynardo felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Skyripper? Reynardo never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Skyripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
We've been pretty single-minded with our playthroughs so far, I'd say that much.
A crafting bench? What kind of sword could he make now?
Good question. We've already maxed out the Firestorm. The Void Blade. We don't have the Wind Essences. We have the Witherstone, though. Witherthorn. That's freezing enemies. Should be good. Now we just need 15 more Water Essences. Look at this guy. Oops. I wonder what we're going to find out about this thing. I'm sure there's going to be a twist or a downside. That's fun. Also, is that the first reference we've had so far to the other storylines being wrong?
Look down, he thought.
We have the vague hint when you're choosing a path, but I don't think it previously was all like. I don't think it previously had the game randomly bring up the fact that I always want to say Reynardo. That Lapino betrayed us. Like it just flat out acknowledged the fact that he's basically our enemy now, working with the Ravens, which I don't think happened when we were going after the other stone. I think the game even briefly thought about like, what if we went back and saved him anyway?
When I build my castle, thought Reynardo, all my gates are going to open with buttons, and all the levers will drop rocks at your head.
Oh, that seems spiteful. I was with you for part of it. Good old pressure plates.
The people who had built this castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Skyripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the lost gods, thousands of thousands had died. But Reynardo had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one.
Not a bad point. Ooh, 2 points available. Oh right, I think we usually level up just from getting truths in the first place. So the new tier of stuff, inflict damage on hooked enemies. Ooh. The next one is you can dash through shield-wielding enemies, but you have to max out the dash through enemies damage thing. Time Mastery, freeze time for everyone but Reynardo when countering an attack at the last second. Lasts a few seconds. Interesting. I do like the time freezing ones, those are just kind of fun to throw around. Kick and throw distance are increased, and maximum sword energy buff. That's also nice. I'll go for that and that.
It was way better than being able to shrink down to the size of an ant. What was that all about anyway?
This game likes its references, doesn't it? So we've got the extended sword meter, and we've got the ability to freeze time in a different context. Open for me. It looks slightly weird that there's a giant hole in the middle, but he seems to insert the sword into a lower part.
This would be the perfect place for a tic-tac-toe board.
I will say one thing about this game that's slightly weird, is that you kind of don't explore. Ow. Whoa. Explosions everywhere. You quickly get... Ow. Holy crap. Oh crap. Okay, danger. You quickly start realizing that, as you... Ow. Holy crap. You're danger. Give me those hit points back. I need those. Oh, I understand what's going on here. What's happening to me that's messing with me is that these guys are totally covered in their crazy blue effect from the being buffed, and so I'm not noticing the exclamation point because it's being lost in the details. But yeah, a weird thing about this game, and it kind of makes sense because you kind of just want to go on a flowing adventure and just keep moving fast. Ooh, that looks really big.
He could sense the jewel's power.
Treasure hunter.
He had a feeling they were going to be great friends.
I'm used to playing games where you slowly scrape up and down all the parts of the world and carefully find everything. So it's just slightly weird for me to play a game like this, where you kind of just go ahead and, oh, shot for that guy. In this game you just kind of go ahead and, just pick a path and take it, and then every time you pick a path it usually just leads to a point of no return or something. And the levels are relatively short anyway. So if it feels like I'm running past stuff, I think I'm kind of resolving to just go ahead and run past everything at this point. Not past chests, but like, I mean, like, just keep picking a path and going for it.
If they didn't want their things broken, they really ought to make them stronger.
Because at this point, I think at the end of the day, each path is ultimately just going to have slightly different variations of chests and so on for upgrade items, but I'm going to keep getting upgrade items, and frankly, if I play this game anywhere near as many times as I think I might, we're going to run out of upgrades pretty quickly anyway. So the big thing is just finding fights, because fights give you experience, and that is a much deeper upgrade tree that takes longer to get through. Unless at some point in the game you unlock even higher tier weapons that haven't been mentioned yet. But so far, yeah, you just kind of pick a path and go for it. Hello. The truth behind the Skyripper is shrouded in a thick fog. The most believable tale is that the Transcendent Emperor has used the Skyripper to banish Iblis. Then, the TE buried the weapon and vanished. Was it a self-imposed exile to rid the world of its last divine presence, or was it the price to pay for using such a tremendous power? Could the Skyripper and Iblis have a deeper connection than just a weapon and its victim? Hi? That's a first one. Could I pick it up or anything, or does it just sit here? Oh, it keeps going. My rituals will summon the Iblis Stone. Perhaps I should worry that they will also cause the Skyripper to resurface. If that is the case, I should spare no resource to find it. A weapon that can banish a god is a valuable bargaining chip, should the old ones decide to double-cross me. It is in their nature to try. But gods are predictable, and I can rely on that to always be one step ahead. Emperor Isengrim the Third Secret Journal. Didn't realize it was scrolling at first. I only came back because I wanted to see if I could pick it up to collect it or not. I've never seen a journal in this game.
Hero Wall. Hero Sword. Ice Wall. Ice. Cube.
Onwards! Yeah, I think the game specifically. I wonder, like, I think it's designed to have a forward momentum feeling to it all the time. So I think you're kind of not supposed to backtrack or try to find secrets. I think you just keep picking paths, and it's a gameplay thing where you're constantly choosing paths that. Oh wow, that's actually clever. Sorry, I'm putting this together in my head right now. So the whole game's story is about constantly being faced with decisions and then not being able to go back and make the other ones. Well, you ultimately go back and make the other ones when you actually start over, but in the process of playing through an individual story, you get stuck with whatever story you get. And I'm wondering,
these things really slice like ham.
I'm wondering if the entire game is actually designed level by level to reconstruct that exact feeling, because you have all these different paths you can take in each level, which, among other things, only taking one path increases the replay value of each level, because it doesn't. Oh crap. Because it doesn't, it's less likely to become repetitive as you play each time, because you're opening different paths and taking different routes. but also it makes the levels themselves a metaphor for the way that the story is being told in the first place. Can I go in here? No, not quite. I think that might be intentional. Because yeah, I think of the giant butterfly wing at the beginning of Until Dawn.
I think this is yours, said Reynardo. But he couldn't hear his enemy's answer.
That was very effective. Excuse me. Just gonna chop away for a second. Could use a few hit points real quick. Thank you. Oh, he's gone. That's actually a really interesting idea that each level be a reconstruction of the way the story is told, because I imagine each of these levels does look like the giant branching butterfly wing image from Until Dawn, where it's just a huge web of directions you could have gone. Is this a puzzle?
See? With enough leverage, you could go anywhere.
I didn't know this game would have puzzles. Wait, is the level design gonna suddenly get way more complicated over time? Because I would welcome that, actually. So I can go left or right. Let's go check real quick. Look at me agonizing over decisions after saying what I just said. That's a big, important looking door that seems like the end of the level. So I'm curious about what's over here. I can't help but check.
And this is why heroes are called dashing, Reynardo thought. See? Dashing? Get it?
Wanna be dashing? There's never a bad time for an RLM reference, even if no one's on the same page. Alright, let's get up to that big door with my supply of ore. Can I level up yet? No, actually not even close. The experience definitely takes longer and longer to accrue, but you quickly hit a point where, I mean, you level up every time you complete a story, so that definitely seems to curb that.
There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist, but first, he'd get the second piece. Skyripper had a heart, a core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
Why is he even distracted about going after Zenobia in the first place? It almost doesn't make sense. I'm kind of wondering if that's what the armature does, if that's what the Skyripper does, is as a defense mechanism it might try to obliviate you, it might try to mislead and distract you. The only reason one would seek the armature was to build a legendary weapon that had once banished the lost gods. Obviously, Reynardo should get the core.
It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core.
They're very heavily contextualizing this branch of the story around avoiding your friends for great power. I wonder why they specifically emphasize that for this story and not the other one where you're also hunting a relic of great power. I'm a little surprised there's two stories where you hunt a relic of great power, honestly.
Doubt sunk in before he was even out of sight of the Farfarer. Why had he chosen the Skyripper? It was the sort of path he'd always avoided. The path of responsibility, of seriousness. Had he grown up? He didn't feel grown up. He'd made this decision from his gut, like he always did. Somehow, he'd impulsively decided to stop being impulsive. Did that make any sense?
You decided to stop being impulsively. Sure, yeah, it makes sense. I'll let you think that at least. We'll just play along. Wow, set to increase chance of rare loot by 1%. Okay. Not exactly a promising percentage. More story. Did these just spawn now, or is this part of this specific branch? Huh. Dear Zenobia, the director of the academy has told me how much he was impressed by your academic performance and leadership. Somehow I doubt that this was a session of bootlicking. I have seen plenty of those. That old toad is sincere. I am proud of you, my daughter. You will make a fine empress one day. On my end, great news! Professor Calaveras has been studying the Nexus and has made a bold observation. That toad is a true genius. You should know how the island is unique, constantly changing, new crystalline formations appearing, island fragments merging, splitting, slowly drifting, held together by some invisible threads. Professor Calaveras is convinced those changes are not random, but rather indicative of the living nature of the islands. He has observed that certain changes on the Nexus follow, or sometimes precede, a turbulence on another island. Landslides, quake, flood, the Nexus seems to resonate with those events. Maybe the islands are a hive mind, and the Nexus is the brain? In any case, I am funding a permanent scientific observatory on the Nexus. It will attract the Empire's greatest minds. With Professor Calaveras at the helm, I anticipate a great age of enlightenment for the Empire. With love, Father. So now we're learning about the island itself, according to the theories of the toad that we've met before. Look at those little logs and bricks floating around down there. It really is a strange setting. I wonder if this is how they're going to set this story apart from the other one.
Reynardo felt bad for littering, but these islands were short on trash cans.
Oh, that's not the type that shoots fire. Lost track of what type of enemy there was. Give me that. Nope. Give me that. No. Triangle. Triangle. There we go. For some reason I was having trouble triggering the... Hey, space, guys. Give me a little space. I was having a little bit of trouble triggering my, grappling hook. Friends. Hit points, please. There we go. It'll be interesting to see how they make this story feel different from the one where I was already hunting for relics. There's already an emphasis on friends and so on, as opposed to fighting your inner demons, because this one doesn't seem to corrupt you yet. I'm wondering if there's going to be a twist on the relic itself.
There was blood on this one, so it hadn't saved its owner.
Cool, we got a magical relic to make you more powerful, except it failed the last person that it was on, so that's always concerning. Cool. Hit points, please. Thank you. All healed up. Oop. Whoa, was that mine? Whoa. I think that might have been my new power where I perfectly counter at the last second. So it really freezes all the time. Well, let's take your shield off, but I'll try to test that in a moment. Let's pop this guy before it becomes a problem. Alright, let's try this. Nope, that was not the last second apparently. Oh, that was too late to be the last second. Come on. There we go. That's interesting. You can just completely freeze everything if you do it just right. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen automatically as a reflex when one of them sneaks up on me, but I managed to get them in the last second. That's a cool effect. It's very satisfying. But yeah, this one doesn't seem to corrupt me so far, so it's more of a question of just
all the
power
artisans
itself.
he was creating employment for. Truly, he was a job creator. There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
It's over here. Oh wait, that's fire. I have that. Open for me. Look at that. This is new. You have to grapple to spots while they're not being watched.
Didn't your mother tell you it's rude to stare? Snapped Reynardo, a little smug.
The game manages to switch up its gameplay more often than I would have expected. Here we go. It's those guys' job just to stare at cliffs over and over again. Yeah, the other one was corrupting. I wonder if there's gonna be a twist where this one turns out to not do anything. Or they did suggest earlier that it apparently destroys anything it touches. What if it destroys its user? And that's the ultimate cost. Instead of corrupting you, it actually just obliterates you, but but as a result, it also works as some kind of like Deus Ex Machina type ability that would totally do everything you want at the cost of your life, maybe. Or it could do literally nothing. It might just be a rock. That'd be an interesting twist in its own right. Oh, you got your shield. I'll fix that. Hit points, please. That end of the fight heal. Oops. I wouldn't say the gameplay's been exactly complicated and challenging so far, but it's engaging because they change it just often enough, and there's just enough reflex there. There's the right amount of demand to be paying attention. We're getting a lot of these stones now, so that we've hit the point of the game, I guess, where they layer that in and it becomes a regular mechanic as opposed to super rare. Because now over the course of this story, I've gone from 1 to 3 to 4 actually, huh? I won't even be able to use all these at once. I just hurt myself by charging forward. Whoops. Oh, I saw this from overhead earlier. Oh, crap. They're gonna look over here. Oh, I can't even go over there.
Reynardo wondered if his future self had commissioned these poles.
This is a dead end.
There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest, the mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking this thing might destroy its user. As we approach the weapon...
Of course there was a puzzle. You couldn't expect the transcendent emperor to bury a god's eye in a leather sack where anyone could pick it up.
Oops, I'm trying to break pots. There we go. It's actually slightly off. It's really strange to have a fixed camera all of a sudden, like so specifically fixed. Like the game's not mine anymore in a weird way. Here we go. Yeah, puzzle might be a strong word, although I'm a little biased with all the puzzle games we've actually played on this channel.
Couldn't be good for global warming.
Because so far the 2 puzzles I've done were flip left, do left liver, then right liver, then left liver. You're done. You just alternate between the 2. Huh, they specifically seem to indicate there's 3 truths and that's it, too. I wonder if something else happens after that point, or if that's the end of the progression system. Only time will tell. I was gonna say no use dwelling over mysteries that'll be solved in about 20 minutes probably. But that you could say the same thing about the story, and I'm still gonna wonder about that. Oop! Ow! Rude. Dodge? Oh, there's a second one now. I was wondering how he survived, but that's just a new one altogether. Excuse me! Oop. Ow. Health sword will save me. How you guys feeling, huh? Take a seat. Oh! You just had to interfere, huh? There we go. Just gonna take all these hit points real quick. Need to find my way to a crafting chamber. Crafting chamber? What? Crafting table so I can actually apply my new crystal.
That's how we do it, said Reynardo to himself.
At least we're acknowledging the fact that he's only talking to himself. You gotta stay sane somehow. I've been talking to myself for years. Look at what happened to me.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark arts and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. Maybe Lapino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
I mean, a lot of this game is about trying to build up knowledge, after all. They were trying to learn the big truths. Seems like a bad idea to not go to the scientists when we just picked up a relic that seems to make the entire area around it unhealthy. The Skyripper was complete. The superweapon could put an end to the Emperor's madness, but had Reynardo assembled it correctly, would it work at the critical moment? The scientists on the Nexus would surely give answers.
Well, of course. If you've just assembled a weapon out of legend that can exile gods from the world, you'd want to have a scientist or two look at it. And even if they disagreed and you had time, you could ask Calaveras himself. Yes, the observatory would be his objective.
To do anything else seems suicidal. Not that we won't have suicidal playthroughs, I'm sure.